The following may not be appropriate for all ages. Parental advisory suggested. If you are okay, however, with mild cursing and talk of memories, we invite you to keep listening.
Hello everyone, this is Liliana Darkangelo from Nerdvana, and we are here for episode 6, where we will talk all things conventions. But I'm not alone, I'm joined here by a large group of people, which is weird. So, who all is here today to join us?
I'm Alicia Ish.
It's grim, but my voice is kind of shot.
And we have Neme Manere.
This is Caesar.
Mike.
And John.
And Caesar and Mike are two of our newest reviewers on our site and contributors and full of awesome. They are helping us expand and grow, and as Grim mentioned, his voice is kind of shot because, well, we just got back from Wizard Worlds literally a half hour ago.
I wanted to talk to you about that, Lola.
Yeah, yes, let's get to that in a second.
But first, what about convention etiquette? Because I've been hearing a lot about cons bringing on new rules and there being people being put in place for convention etiquette. What is everybody's feelings on this?
So I think the general rule, let's kind of break it down. Let's start with on a patron level. There's simple rules for patrons. You know, if you're in a hotel, especially if you're in a hotel, you want to shower at least, once a day, maybe like 2 times in that weekend.
That seems reasonable.
Somewhere
Especially
in
if you're
there.
in heavy makeup. If you're doing a heavy makeup cosplay like Kratos, for the love of God, please shower. Or Hulk. You're going to be green and you're going to be sweating and you're really going to want to get that stuff off at the end of the night.
Any full body airbrushing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Just go scrub that stuff off after you get done because it's going to show up the next day too. You need to take a shower, especially in heavy makeup cosplays.
You want to make sure that you shower. You also want to make sure that you drink a lot of water because you're walking around in a large room with lots and lots of people. So you want to make sure you stay hydrated so you don't, pass out and die, especially if you are in a costume. If you're in a very heavy costume, you want to drink a lot of water. And it's recommended to have a handler to kind of take your things and, be like, hey, stop, water, drink now, or I beat you with your own weapon.
Like sorry. we saw a Sauron this weekend, and he was full on stilts, 8 feet tall, and he had a handler because he could not see any of the little people down below him.
Yeah.
And everybody wanted to stop and get pictures. She had a bag, she had water, and we watched her once or twice, or at least I saw her, reach up and give him water, and he's like lifting the mask, drinking water down. That costume, it was all foam, we found out at the costume contest, but it's still going to be hot. It's still going to be heavy. And if you're in costumes like Iron Man, Sauron, the Muppets that we saw.
Mm-hmm. There were quite a few Muppets.
Friggin' water. I do not stress this enough. Water is your best friend, and you will love it, and it will love you. And you may have to pee more, which will suck if you're in a very complicated to get out of costume. But you will agree. Yeah.
Tights is just
Black Canary,
a miserable situation.
Yes. Black Canary has snaps.
But we'll get to that in a second.
It was kind of one of those drink water. Yes, you'll regret it if you're wearing a costume that takes some work to get in and out of, but you're going to feel better at the end of the day because you're not going to have a headache. You're not going to feel sick. You're not going to try and kill every little kid that wants a freaking picture with you because you're tired and your head hurts and you need water.
You want to be in a good mood as a cosplayer. You don't want to be in a bad mood as a cosplayer, and water will help.
Everyone's going to stop you for pictures, especially if you're doing something like Lady Flash. They're going to be like, oh, I know you. If you're Batman, be prepared to get stopped for pictures.
Yeah, you don't want to be that one cosplayer who's running around out there that everybody is giving a bad reputation because you're becoming annoyed and you're like, I just don't want any of this right now. You will get stopped for pictures if you're a cosplayer. You just will. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah. And make sure that you eat as well. There's a simple eventing rule. You need to make sure that you eat. You need to make sure you get at least 4 hours of sleep every night. Mm-hmm. I understand cons take a lot because you're up when the door is open until the door is closed. You're going to after hours things on Saturday nights. You're up early just so you can get your costume on. You're up late just to peel everything off.
Or to finish pieces that fell apart.
Yeah, after parties too. I mean,
I understand that. I'm a cosplayer. I understand that very well. I still have the chafe marks from Dark Emma Frost.
Also, it's simple. Get trail mix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can put that in a pouch on your
Well,
belt.
you know, they make these beautiful thing called like energy bars, like a Luna bar or something
Yeah,
like that. They're
yeah.
in bar form. They're
Have a couple of
compact
those
and
with you
easy
all
to
weekend.
travel with.
If you start getting peckish, munch on one of those until lunchtime. Definitely stop. It's the rule of 4-3-2. You want 4 hours of sleep each night, not just one, or through the whole weekend. 4 hours each night.
Minimum.
3 meals a day. I don't care if your breakfast is a freaking granola yogurt cup thing that tastes like butt.
Or an apple.
Or an apple or an orange or something. 3 meals a day, a breakfast of sorts, a lunch about halfway through your day, and then dinner after the doors close. So before you go to after hours stuff, because if you're over 21, you're probably going to drink. Drinking on an empty stomach is a bad idea.
Very
Don't do
bad
it.
idea.
You'll regret the things you say later.
You'll
and-
regret the things you do.
You'll also-
You might be on that table stripping off your costume.
Which may feel nice getting that costume off. However, the photos later on,
You will
especially
regret.
if, you know, your parents and family are friends of your Facebook and you get tagged in those, it's going to be embarrassing.
Well, yeah.
I
So-
feel like Caesar and Mike are just like, yes, all of this.
All of the things.
But how do you guys, I was talking about this with my friends Jillian and Jordan when they got back from San Diego Comic-Con about panel line campers who camp for groups of people and kind of switch on and switch off. What do you think the etiquette on that is? Because I do not think that should be allowed, and it seems to be more and more common at cons now.
I can understand, you know, if you're going with a group and it's like, oh crap, I have to pee like right now.
Yeah.
I can understand, hey, I'll be right back. But if it's, oh, I'm going to go check out 6 vendors while we wait and then switch off, that's kind of BS.
Yeah.
Yeah. If
But-
you got a piece, do it.
Yeah, if it's that quick, I need to go for a smoke. I need to go to the bathroom. I need to grab you know, something from the water fountain.
Yep.
That's understandable because it's quick, you're gone, you're back. But something like hold my place in line, I'm going to go buy 7 things from the vendors, be back in an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of...
I wouldn't suggest doing it because it's rude. There are a lot of people that are going to want to get into those panels, and you're basically going, well, I don't care if you've been waiting here longer than I did. My friends are holding my spot. That's rude, and if you're basically sitting there waiting and you have to go pee, and you're like, hey, dude, hold my spot so I can pee, that's one thing.
Yeah.
I'm not going to ask you to sit there and pee all over the convention floor because you're not supposed
It's
to leave.
preferable that you pee elsewhere.
Please go pee in the bathroom, you know, take the pants off, take the tights off, you know.
Yeah.
Go elsewhere, make sure you're fresh, and then come back to the line. That's one thing, is the going off and go, I'm going to go visit this guy and get his signature for this while you guys hold my spot in line and wait for me. And
And then I'll come back and you can do the same thing and, you know, take turns doing that. That's kind of...
it's kind of rude.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I view it as you extremely, extremely dislike when you go to a movie theater and somebody's reserved a whole row with various coats and other materials, you know, and everybody's out going and getting popcorn, and there's one person there for 8 seats.
Yeah.
If you don't like that, then don't be a line camper.
Exactly.
It's the same concept, guys.
I mean,
Only
waiting
without
at
the coats.
in the Wizard World, in the line for the costume contest last night. I stayed in the line. This line was long. It went down the escalators and around. It was long.
I believe it.
But they were filming for Heroes of Cosplay and another mystery
That
video
was
that they won't
awesome.
tell us. But
Mystery.
Grim went out for a smoke. I stood there and waited because I'm like, well, we're not getting in anytime soon. Shuffled like maybe a foot by the time he came back. And I was like, cool, we got a little bit of time. I'm going to go sit because my feet hurt and I'm going to die. And I just sat. I kept my eye on him, so if I had to get up, I could.
Yeah.
And I made sure, okay, the line's moving, got up, went back into my spot. Like,
Yeah.
that's one thing. I can understand that. And there were people that were doing that.
Yeah.
Same was true for being backstage with the cosplayers for the costume contest. We were switching off so we could go pee before we got up on stage in front of God knows how many people. And all the cameras and the lights and the judges and Yaya Han and Jason David Frank and Ivy Doom Kitty, and it's the, yeah, I'm going pee first. And that was fun. It was the, okay, I'll hold your spot, run, come back, then I get to go. And
Yeah.
we kind of worked it out and made it work. Or we would skip ahead of each other to where there's a seat if, you know, you were in an uncomfortable costume, and sit there and trade out for a bit
Yeah.
because that made it work.
How do you guys feel about etiquette for vendors? Like, what is a big thing that you notice at past conventions that just doesn't seem legit, or you wish they practiced more of?
This one I have a very, very firm opinion on. If you are a vendor and it is during hours of sale, please be sober. That means no drugs of any sort, unless it is obviously prescription painkillers and you can still function.
Yeah.
If you are smoking marijuana or drinking after hours in your room, that's fine. However, there's those times where, I've got friends that are vendors, and if they come up to me and they're just like, dude, I am so high right now, and they start giggling, I feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Because that's not exactly something that needs to happen in a family-friendly event. You need to be sober as you can be. I understand that, some people are on medical marijuana, but they also know their limits.
Oh yeah,
They know I can take this much and not feel pain, but still be functional like I'm sober. But after this point, I'm gone.
Yeah.
I'm giggling at everything.
And it's far more prevalent on this coast to be on medical marijuana. And you know the people who know their limit versus the people who don't.
Yeah.
And it's silly because you wouldn't show up to work like a legit job, a full-time 9 to 5, high off your butt. And but you would show up and be a vendor doing that? Like, why is that any different?
It's if you're in your own hotel room after hours, that's your thing.
Yeah.
Keep it to your hotel room. I understand that there are con parties, and they keep it to the con party rooms. Mm-hmm. I don't see people running down the hallways, with alcohol in their hands, because you kind of get hotel staff or the convention staff kind of yelling at you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's the vendors need to be very aware of what they're doing. And go, okay, from this time to this time, I'm out of my room, therefore I need to be sober. From this time until this time, I can go ahead and get as drunk as I want because by the morning, I'll be fine.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and I also feel like something that vendors need to focus on a little bit more is especially indie vendors, especially if it's your first convention. If somebody comes up to your booth and you haven't had anybody in like 5 minutes, talk to that person. Don't be sitting there on your Kindle, on your iPod, on your iPad, just for lack of a better term, dicking around. This person is coming to your booth for a reason. They're probably interested in what's going on there. You want to engage with this person. You want to set a good example. You want to be welcomed back to conventions. And if you're just sitting there not engaging with the people who could be potential customers who might have questions, it's not looking good on you. And I feel like a lot of vendors do that.
I saw a couple this weekend we walked by and they were sitting back and they looked bored and they looked like they didn't want to be here and they were upset or this, that, and the other. And it's like, I don't want to go talk to you. I don't see anything I want to go to look at because I don't want to go talk to you. I don't want to deal with you. The other people were all like, yeah, hi, how are you? Come talk to me. Come look at my pretties. What do you think? Oh, this is your first convention. And they talk to you and they're friendly and they're outgoing and they are out there. You have to be as a vendor selling things at a convention, you have to be out there and open and excited and friendly and perky, even if you are not, or have somebody there at that booth who can do that.
Yeah.
If you cannot, have somebody there who can. It's not welcoming to a person just walking by to want to come in and buy one of your things if you're just all in your booth. There's what was it? A rule where I work outside of this stuff is you talk to everybody. You ask them, hey, do you want to get signed up with our rewards program? Do you want to do this? Do you want to get a program for your phone or this or that? You ask everybody. You're going to get turned down a lot. You're going to get told, no, not right now. I really don't need that. Or no, I'm just looking. But there's going to be that 1 in 10 person that goes, oh, really? Tell me more. Yeah, definitely. Sign me up. Let's go.
Yeah.
And that's the same is true for conventions. There's going to be that 1 person in 10 that goes, tell me more.
Definitely. Caesar, it seems like you have an opinion.
No,
on the matter. You lean closer to the mic.
Up and I'm like, oh. It's like double dutch. Like, I'm ready. Okay, jump in. No, but really, for vendors, if I'm walking by and you're just sitting there, it means that it's more likely I'm just like, all right, I'm just going to leave because I really don't want to buy anything from you if you're not engaging me. But if you're there and you like talk to me about things that I'm interested in that you're trying to sell, then definitely I'd love to hear what you have to say. Like maybe we can just talk about like regular nerdy geeky stuff.
Yeah.
and it makes me feel that much more invested. Like I feel great when I purchase something from your store, as opposed to just like, okay, I'm just gonna hand you over money. And it doesn't even seem like you're interested at all.
Well, and you never know what's going to happen either. I think one of my favorite convention stories is meeting Ron Mars at the Baltimore Comic Convention, and I didn't know that he was going to be as humble as he was, and I actually had a problem with a couple of my graphic novels that I brought to be signed. They were starting to break away from the binding. And he saw that and he was like, oh no, we need to get you replacements of these. No questions asked, he just gave them to me. There was no exchange of money involved. He let me keep the ones with the broken bindings. I got all of them signed. There was nothing to it. And it's that sort of convention story that sticks with you and makes you want to return. And it's the convention stories of, I went up to this booth and this comic book owner, a shop owner, was totally closed off to me, and I had questions and he made me feel like I was a complete idiot. Those are the ones that you don't want to come back to.
Well, and I mean, I've seen some vendors, I'm not stating any specific event or anything, but you also have to be conscious of how you are perceived to the staff. I've heard horror stories of, oh God, this vendor was completely rude. She had an ego about her and I just can't stand her. Or, he thinks he's better than everyone. You have to be very, very self-conscious. I understand that, these kinds of things aren't everyone's forte and that you're kind of weird around people, but you can't rub people the wrong way. You have to be very, very self-aware. And you can't be too demanding. I honestly hate to say it, but you really cannot be too demanding of the staff and of everyone else because you're paying for a table. I understand this. You're spending money on a table, but at the same time, they're taking care of celebrities. They're taking care of their own people. They're trying to make sure that 80 plus vendors, depending on the event, is doing okay. And they can't go on ahead and take care of your every demand.
Because sadly, you are not a celebrity. You are not, say somebody like Will Shatner or Stan Lee. You kind of aren't that important. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's the sad truth. I mean, yes, if, like Summer Glau were to look at me and be like, go find me a bottle of water. No questions asked. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
If a vendor will be like, hey, can you grab me a bottle of water? Yeah, let me grab Summer Glau's first. I will bring it to you while I grab hers.
There's a priority hit list.
There is. I mean, I've had people they're like, oh, well, I need you to find me this person. And they're not a celebrity. They're not someone I'm working directly under.
Yeah.
They're one of the vendors. And I need you to find me this person. And this person was supposed to be here at this time. I don't work for you. You're not paying me.
Yeah. Well, you have to know who you are in that world too, and it seems like a lot of people don't have a greater grasp on where they are in that universe. And I feel like some of those people are even staff. Like they feel like they're higher up in the convention realm than they are because they have that staff shirt or that staff badge. And when it comes down to it, you are there to help everyone at that convention. And you can't be closed off and you can't avoid people. And I feel like some staff do. They just sit back and are just kind of like, well, no, I'm in charge of this. If a convention goer comes up and asks you a question about where something is, if you know the answer, don't pass them off to somebody else. It's the same as going into like a retail shop and being like, well, I don't know. When you do, it's ridiculous. It's not necessary.
And to be fair on that, remember, guys, when you're at the conventions, we all know we like the celebrities, but if they're not right there immediately, give them a few minutes. Give them a chance to relax. If they've just gone away for like a photo op or a panel or something and they're coming right back, don't just crowd them as soon as they come in. Wait a minute, be polite, give them their time, and they will be way more appreciative of it. There were a couple people at Wizard Worlds that were congoers. Waiting for Ron Perlman, they were a little antsy and acting a little above themselves. Whereas, waiting for Cassandra Peterson, a.k.a. Elvira, there were a few of us that were just like, no, go do your photo shoot. We'll wait here. We have plenty of time. You got stuff to do. And she loved us for it.
Yeah. I mean, and there is something to be said about handling yourself appropriately as press. And I do feel like there are some people who are very professional about it. I mean, we try to be, definitely.
Yeah.
But there are some press junkets that they feel like they've earned a right to be above certain things, and it's just not true. If you're approached as press by somebody who's interested about being on your blog, being on your podcast, you hear them through. You're not above anything. You never know where that lead may go. You just don't.
Well, and if you're there as press, don't abuse that privilege. You were given that press pass out of confidence that you will be able to do the work. And I've seen, over the past 2 years, I've seen people, they're like, oh, so I would like this press pass, and I will totally do a review, and I'll do interviews with the celebrities, and like they'll list off things, and they just kind of go around, and they're like, I'm press, look at me, ha 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 ha, and think that they can, and they end up getting free things to review. Yeah. Stop laughing at me.
Ash is chuckling behind her hand. She's trying to stifle it so hard.
Yes, it's my Valley Girl voice.
It's out of character.
Very. But it's, they use it to get free things, but they never follow through. And I've heard so many authors look at me and they go, I would absolutely adore giving you something. However, and I'm like, you know what? I understand. You have been screwed over in the past. Yeah. You've had people claim their press, try and get stuff from you, claim that they'll do a review, and they don't. I completely understand that. Mm-hmm. When I have the chance, we'll make sure that we get that review to you. It's,
Well, and I feel like artists and vendors need to understand just as much is that at the end of a convention, we have just as many contacts to go through as you do probably. And to be realistic, when you send out a press release to a major media person, or if you send out anything to a major media outlet, it can take anywhere from 2 weeks to 4 months to get back to you. And you just need to keep that in mind. I mean, it can be very stressful to have that wait as a vendor, as an artist, as a writer, but you just need to be realistic about it.
But, if you're sitting there and 2 years down the road, every single book you've handed out doesn't get a review from those people, it's very discouraging. And it's one of those things where you're just like, no, I'm done. And I understand that.
Yeah.
But if you're press, don't abuse it. Don't think, oh, because I'm press, I can cut in line to go on and do interviews. The celebrities must do interviews with me because I'm press. Yeah. You're not, I'm sorry, you're not, a major magazine or a major TV outlet. You're not something absolutely major. You're a small podcast.
And they are under no obligation to talk to you, take pictures with you, give you an interview, do any of that kind of stuff. They're there for the fans. They are there to take photos with the fans, sign pictures. They are not there to talk to you.
Yeah, definitely.
And you want to make sure to be very professional. It's fine. I know I did swoon a bit over Adam West. Like, I fist bumped him.
That is completely understandable,
but
though.
You want to make sure that you stayed professional as well when you're trying to promote yourself to them and try and set up an interview for a later date. And you want to make sure that you articulate to them and their handlers, no, I understand we can't do an interview now. However, I would like to set one up for a future date.
Yeah, definitely.
You need to make sure to articulate that and express the different ways you are capable of doing those interviews. Because I've had a few people, I can't really do it in person. Well, that's fine. We can do it through Google Hangouts. I can send you questions. We can do it over the phone. I've had a few people, we can call you.
Yeah.
We can do it through Google Hangout. Yaya Han told me to email her questions. I'm like, I can do that.
Yeah, you have to be flexible as press, too. You need to understand that these people, especially if they're higher up, especially if they're like Summer Glau, if they're like Yaya Han, they have a ton of offers coming into them for stuff like this. And the more flexible you can be, especially as something in its infancy, a blog or a podcast, starting out, they're in their first couple of years of being out there, you need to be more flexible. And I feel like that's what a lot of people don't understand, and that's a lot of the failings that they come with, is just in being inflexible and being like, no, this is the only time that'll work for us. You need to bend to them. Mm-hmm. They are doing you a huge favor.
Oh, yeah.
But on the subject of covering as press...
Well, quick note on that. Also, if you get turned down for an interview, be polite about it. Sometimes they're just that busy. We don't know their schedules. And
Yep.
to be fair, they're not just going to tell us their personal life.
Wait, they're not?
Not their, they're not going to hand us their address and tell us exactly where they're going to be every minute of the day. That's a little dangerous to say the least.
Caesar was hoping everybody would go out for drinks after an interview and that they would want to hang out and we would start an entourage.
But no,
Man, you in the wrong business.
if you get turned down for an interview, just thank you. I thought I would ask anyways.
Yeah.
And
Because you never know. If you don't step out and give the offer, you might have missed a shot.
Yeah.
One celebrity we talked to today, his handler, I'm really sorry, we just don't do those kinds of things with podcasts and webcasts. But that's perfectly fine. I understand. Thank you. It's great to just meet him, be able to hug him, and pass the word along regardless. Doesn't hurt to ask, though. And
No, it never
they're
does.
usually, she even flat out said, no, I appreciate the fact that you asked.
Yeah.
Because the fact that you asked means that, you're actually serious about what you're doing.
Yeah, definitely. Well, and you guys, so we've been talking about Wizard World a lot. Lilith, Ash, and Grim just got back from Wizard World.
Well, before we go into that, I do have a few more points for cons, do's, and don'ts because photographers, this is one of the big ones. I mean, we covered general con goers and, your do's and don'ts. You do have to be courteous and very considerate, especially if you're a cosplayer. You do have to understand you're going to get stopped for photos. You've got to follow the simple rules. Vendors, you have rules and guidelines. Also, for con-goers, one other note, be sure to check the guidelines, especially weapons guidelines, because there are things you cannot bring into a con, and it varies based on conventions. Be sure to check all the rules and guidelines on the website so you know harassment policies, weapons policies, so you know everything before you go in there. So you're not stopped at the door and you have to turn around and go home. Vendors, it's simple. You get this stuff when you sign up. You read it in the packet. Staff, communication is key. Make sure that your volunteers know what's going on. One thing that I did notice this weekend, it's nothing against Wizard World. It's just one of those little things. Having someone go, I went up to Norman Reedus' booth. I want to talk to him for a minute. Oh, yeah, we don't even know if he's coming back.
Yeah,
that's not something you want a volunteer to say to someone, regardless of if they're press. It doesn't matter who they are. Your volunteers need to know what's going on. They also need to know what to say. If they don't know if the celebrity's coming back, they need to know to say, we're not sure when he's coming back. Just keep checking on back. Or, if you're press, go talk to so-and-so and see what's going on with that. Send them to someone who would know. So make sure that your staff knows what's going on, that they don't have that holier-than-thou attitude. Photographers, always ask before taking a photo.
Please.
Much
appreciated.
There were so many celebrities where they had pictures that said no photos in this area.
Yeah.
They had things where you had to pay for photos, and there were people outside of the area of the lines taking photos of the celebrities from a distance. And it's like, look, if I've got to pay anywhere between $10 and $50 to get a photo, or higher, depending on the celebrity, if I have to pay to get a photo taken with them with my phone, you need to pay too.
Yeah, definitely.
And that needs to be enforced through the staff as well.
Well, and a lot of cosplayers too, they have photographers with them. There's a reason why they have their own photographers. You will be shocked as to how many people at the end of cons get their photos taken off of certain cosplayers because it's just, that's how they run things. That's how they do things. And I don't blame them because they want to be seen in a certain light. They want to control their image and what their costumes look like online and stuff like that. You just need to be cognizant of what's going on around you.
If the cosplayer, celebrity, vendor, what have you says no, walk away. Just thank you, I thought I would ask. And, you can talk to them about it, but don't try sneaking a photo while you're talking to them. Don't angle the camera and click and then, because that makes you look like a horrible person, and you will, especially if you're press and you're there as a photographer, that is the fastest way to go ahead and get you a bad reputation.
Definitely.
When you're taking a picture with a cosplayer or a celebrity, be very aware of where your hands are.
please.
I've heard too many stories. I've had this happen a few times where the hand will be a little low. My general rule is if your pinky is brushing where my underwear should be, you're hitting that gray area. If your hand falls lower and I move it and you do it again, you're going to get elbow checked.
Yeah, definitely.
I really don't care if you're in a convention. That is considered harassment to be, I will elbow check you before finding staff.
Definitely.
It doesn't matter, male or female, be very, very conscious of where you're touching, how you're touching them. If there's a certain pose, ask the cosplayer first.
Definitely.
Anything else that anyone wants to discuss on con etiquette, do's and don'ts before moving on?
Ash looks like she has something.
No, I think she actually covered it. we're pretty good for right now. I can cover it
Well,
written.
are we allowed to talk about Wizard World now?
Hold on. I do have one, though. Folks, when you're cosplaying, big, huge costumes are fantastic and phenomenal if you can put the effort into them. But also, please, for the love of God, be aware of your spatial environment.
Which is where you have a handler to help you with that.
Yeah, because I'll give you a hint. There was a cosplayer who won Best in Show at the Wizard World's costume contest. Dude stood about 12 feet tall in his costume. He had a hard time moving, and moving around him is hard to do in a crowded area. So please, be aware of how big your costumes are if you're going to make them. We don't need any super giant mechas trying to storm through the building.
Also, briefly, on that note, 2 more points that I just remembered. If you want to take a picture of someone and you see that they're with someone else and you're, not necessarily you're kind of curious on whether they're with someone, but it doesn't hurt to ask, hey, are you okay of me taking a picture of your boyfriend? You can insert the word or, I've had people take pictures of Grimm and they're like, are you okay with it? I personally don't care because I trust that people know where to put their hands.
Yeah.
But it doesn't hurt to ask because there are those times where someone will get insulted for no reason for taking a picture of their significant other.
Yeah, you need to just be cognizant of it.
And don't discriminate on other people's costumes. Please.
Oh, no.
Cosplay is for fun. It's costume play. It's something fun whether you buy your costume or you've completely handmade everything or what have you. You are free to cosplay no matter your age, your ethnicity, your shape. It really doesn't matter. Just feel free to cosplay whether you buy your costume or not.
And tell that person if you see them and they look kind of uncomfortable, tell them that they look awesome because you're probably going to make their day.
Yeah, definitely.
And don't be afraid to dress up your kids and help them cosplay too, because that's actually kind of cool. There were so many fantastic cosplays we saw.
It's like a second Halloween for
is.
little kids. So.
It is. Like, they're just going to be like, I get to dress up again? Okay.
I get to be Batman again?
There was a little Jack Frost and he was adorable. Oh
I
my
saw
God.
that there was also a Walking Dead one. That was pretty epic.
There was a mini Jack Sparrow who was walking with his Jack Sparrow, I'm assuming father.
Adorbs.
Okay. It looked like a father-son relationship, but that father, him and his son went into the costume contest, and Jason David Frank, who is one of the judges, was like, you know what, I just want to say that this is great, you're helping him out, da-da-da. And the guy's like, you know what, this is going to be the next Johnny Depp, I'm telling you, like, he's having fun with it, and this kid's just like, yep, I'm Jack Sparrow. Yep. And just walking, and I mean, he's too young to really express much more than just, I'm in a costume and this is kind of cool. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, like, the kid was, the little Jack Frost that was there with Elsa and the costume contest as well, was just having fun.
Backstage with the costume contest, he was hamming it up. He freed a slave from her Sith Lord Master backstage.
That was bound to happen.
He attacked Darth Maul. Back there, he froze his arm and then got scared when he showed him his painted teeth. It was adorable. He hammed it up apparently until he got on stage. I didn't see that part. He was before me.
So, on the subject of seeing some really interesting costumes and probably some other interesting people, what celebrities did you guys get to meet while you were out there?
So
they were amazing and they were fun.
We met Robert Englund.
And still scares me.
For those that don't know him, Freddy Krueger, Nightmare on Elm Street, the original and only as far as I'm concerned.
Yes, he is, as far as I'm concerned, as well, the only Freddy Krueger out there. Nothing against the new one. The makeup was kind of lacking. But as of this convention, I've officially hugged every single Master of Horror. And this is the only one where I wore normal shoes and I wasn't about ready to, hug their groin area because Tyler Mane and Derek Mears are very, very tall and I'm very, very petite. And so height difference, hugging, head level, yeah. There was also, as Grim mentioned, Cassandra Peterson, Elvira.
The Mistress of the Night.
Oh,
yeah.
she still looks fantastic to this day. Like,
that woman is gorgeous.
she was worth waiting in line.
I got to talk with Ted Raimi today before we left. Yesterday I thought about it, but he was packing up and really busy, so I let him be because that's kind of a dick move. But he was really friendly, really congenial. He talked with people. He waited for me to go run and get money so I could buy a picture and get it signed. And then he's like, he didn't have change. He's like, would you please mind waiting so I can get change? And I'm like, no problem. I got time. I will wait right here and stare at you and Bruce Campbell right across the way. I'm in La La Land. I've got Jock.
You've got a nice sandwich going on.
Oh yeah, I got Jock to the Mighty on one side and I've got Autolycus on the other side. I think I'm good. We also had Will Shatner was there, but we didn't get to see him.
His line was incredibly long.
Well, he has like crazy staff surrounding him too, so I'm not surprised.
Well, he had the normal little barred off line and then off to the side, which originally I thought it was Norman Reedus because you have Norman Reedus on one side, Will Shatner on the other side, and then like this gray area where they have a taped off line. I thought it was for Norman Reedus, and I took one look at it and went, no. Found out later I could have met Norman Reedus, but because that line was for Will Shatner, but kind of missed him because he left early.
Yeah. But I thought about getting in line for William Shatner because I saw the short line, which apparently was VIP, and I was like, and they pointed me in the right direction. They were real nice and congenial about it. They were friendly. They were real professional about it, and it was nice. I appreciate it. I was like, it's no problem. I appreciate it. I'll try and get it. He also let me know that I could go try and find him later. There was also the I also got to meet Ray Parks with Grim and Lil.
And that's the one I was telling Lilith I was going to mention.
Well,
you
you
get to talk, Grim.
I was waiting for you to finish on the line you were
I
on.
could think of. Sorry.
Steal my
Grim?
thunder.
Talk about Ray Parks. I want to hear it. I want to hear it from your soulful voice, Grim.
You are so full of it.
Maybe just a little.
He said my name. It was kind of cool because I didn't realize he had an accent, and so he said my name, and I was like, oh my god, he has an accent.
For those that don't know, Ray Park, Darth Maul, Snake Eyes. You know seen him. But the man is a complete sweetheart.
Oh, yeah.
His handler and him were so cool. They, yesterday, told us that today we'd be able to do possibly a 5-minute interview with them. Today we managed to pull that interview off. It was great. When we were in line waiting to make sure they remembered, Ray Parks himself looked up and went, "Hey, Grim, what's up?" So that was like a moment of, oh my god, this is awesome for me. As we said, we met Cassandra Peterson. Every time she came to Seattle, I've missed her. Finally got to meet her. Total sweetheart.
We met Burt Ward. It was fun watching him try and figure out how to archive a note into his cell phone. He's sitting there and he's like, hold on. All right, how do I archive this? And his handler's like, you just close it. It should save. And he's like, oh, I didn't know that. All right, how
Real world problems, people.
Yeah. I got a fist bump Adam West. I'm sitting there. I'm like, oh my god. He's just kind of looking at me like, what is going on? How old are you? You said you grew up the expression on his face. And I was like, I went to shake his hand and he fist bumped. And I was like, I fist bumped him. Oh my god.
The funny part, Burt Ward, Boy Wonder could manhandle the Batmobile, the Batcopter, and the Batcomputer, no problem. Smartphone, problem.
Smartphones are a problem for a lot of superheroes.
Actually, to be fair, it was an Apple iPhone, so we all know how annoying Apple is.
Oh, Grim.
PC.
Also, we got to hug and basically greet and meet Nicholas Brendan, who played Xander from Buffy. He was a complete sweetheart. He was real nice. We got pictures.
He was
and-
also sick yesterday, so if Neme and I get a cold, we know that it was his fault, which is totally fine. I won't, yell at him for it. I'll be
I
like,
bet
I got a cold from him. Oh my
I bet
god.
he coughed directly into his hands and then shook your hands.
Not exactly, but I did give him a get well present, so it should work out fine.
What was said get well
Not
present?
like that.
I was gonna say Ash.
I drew him a picture. And it said
Okay.
Get well.
See,
It was him and Xander Harris as a soldier.
No.
Not a
He's a
lingering
trooper.
hug.
No. Yes.
God.
Get well.
I think my fiance might kill me if I did that. If he
No.
wasn't there.
I did love watching both Liliana and Neme kind of get all a Twitter when we met Summer Glau.
It was actually
Well.
really cool because she looks at Grim and goes, "You look familiar."
We've worked together before.
If any of you have seen the
Just
movie,
throwing that out there.
if any of you have seen the movie Knights of Badassdom, he was an extra that died in the first 5 minutes.
Not the first 5. God, I don't even remember where they put it in. It was somewhere in the middle.
At some point in the middle, he died, but Summer Glau was in that. So they talked a little bit, and I got to hug her, which she's actually skinnier than I thought she would be. I looked at her, and I'm like, I could break you.
It's legit. The Cameron does end 10 pounds.
Yes.
Probably in her case more like 20 because I bet she's super tiny in person.
Oh, she is. She's itty bitty. She's maybe an inch taller than me.
Yeah.
The top
Because
of
I've
her-
heard that from others.
Top of her head comes to my chin.
She's itty bitty. We also met Ron Perlman briefly, and shook his head, his hand. Sorry.
Whoa! Whoa!
Yes,
No,
we
sorry.
shook Hellboy's head.
The little girls in front of us, and I can say little girls because they were younger than me. I wanted to shake their heads together. See if I can knock some things out because they kind of got a little fangirlish and annoying.
Well,
If I
I
have
mean-
to hear ya's tatas again, I'm going to stab someone.
Oh,
yeah, that
definitely.
was kind of rude.
5 minutes of them just ya's tatas. I'm like,
Oh, God. Were there... Oh, Grim. I know I see you over there, sir. Were there any other celebrities you wanted to
there was
mention?
also The Storm.
Eric the Storm Morin.
We also
The
the smoke.
The
Sorry,
smoke.
sorry.
Come on, guys,
It's been a
get it
long
right.
day.
I hung out with him and I made him an icon picture. Be nice. It's the smoke. I got to draw him pictures as the Man of Steel
yes,
and the
lady.
icon,
We,
and it was
we're
awesome.
sorry. It's been a long day.
It's
There was
been a long day
also
for me,
One
too.
thing we've learned is Ash draws pictures.
Uh-huh. I drew pictures for all of the cosplayers because I was sitting and waiting for the costume contest and my feet hurt and they were nice enough to let me sit next to them, so I doodled them
Oh, okay.
pictures.
Let's redefine that. When she says all the cosplayers, she means Yaya Han, Ivy Doom Kitty, and the Smoke.
All of them.
All 3 of which are awesome people.
They are total sweethearts. They are the sweetest people there. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
when it's there's that misconception sometimes that they're so big they've got an attitude problem, and they don't. They're people
No.
like us. And when we're like, oh no, you're such a big celebrity. No, I'm not. And we're like, no, you're big to us. And Ivy's like, oh my God,
We
thank
almost
you. Like
made her cry. It was
it was a
awesome.
compliment to her, and even to people like Ivy Doom Kitty, saying things like that and getting compliments like that on cosplays it still even touches their hearts.
And anybody that has watched Heroes of Cosplay that says Yaya Han is...
Elitist.
A meanie poo-poo face? Were you gonna
Sure.
guess?
Let's go with
She's
that.
not. She is.
She is really nice, and I don't like how they edited that season with her because they did make her look out to be a total douche. No,
Well,
she is complete opposite.
Well,
from
and with that show, they do edit it to certain parts, like they do with any reality TV.
Yeah, they have to make a bad person, and if it was
Well,
gonna be
they-
somebody or it was sad, it was her. You know.
Well, they fucked up because she is way too nice to be that.
She
Pardon
is
all the
awesome.
language.
I went and talked to her, and she was just like, "Oh, hi, how are you?" I brought her a picture of her as her Batgirl that she just completed. It looked fantastic
Yeah.
and phenomenal. And we went up, and she put her hands in her face and was like, "Oh my God, this is so awesome, thank you." And she was sweet. She's like, "Oh my God,
Well, and you can tell if somebody's being genuine too. There's
Oh,
a
yeah.
big difference because I've met a couple people at conventions where you can kind of tell they're putting it on to a degree because they want to get through the day and they just end up, regurgitating the same stuff over and over again.
And they don't. They're genuine with every single person that comes up to their booth, says hi. Yaya's husband, Brian, he does the same thing. I walked up to him tonight to say bye when we left, and he's like, hey, how are you? I'm sorry we haven't been able to talk with you much because we've been busy. And I'm like, I totally understand. I'm actually going to be on your coach soon. He's like, oh, okay, yeah. Hey, shoot us an email. You got our email, right? And I'm like, yes.
Yes.
He shook my hand. He's like, we'll see you later, okay? Bye. And I went, all right. I've had my day made. This is awesome.
The ones that we did miss out on, or at least I did, that I would have loved to have gotten a chance to meet, the man himself, Stan Lee.
Yeah, I got to see him from a distance, and that's about it.
That man's line was packed, which is understandable.
Yeah, I wish I had gotten that one. Jason David Frank, Tommy the Green Ranger / White Ranger, current really good MMA fighter.
We missed Norman Reedus,
Kim Coates.
Michael Rooker, and the other two people from Walking Dead. I cannot remember their names off the top
One
of
of
my
them
head.
was named Lori.
Oh, yeah, there was, forgive me, I haven't watched the show.
It's been a long day.
Yeah.
It's been a long weekend.
So, if there isn't any other celebrities you guys want to mention, I did want to ask about vendors because that is a big part of a convention for me, is how good the vendors are.
There were a lot of vendors. There's, I don't even know how many. There was Bubba Toys, which is local to Everett, that I actually found really cool to see down there.
You need to send me a link of that. You know me and toys.
Oh, yeah.
Lilith, you have seen my collection.
The thing I love about BobaCon is 2 years ago, I had been looking for the Raven action figure, and every time I found it, didn't have money. Every time I had the money, didn't see it. So Jet City Comic Con 2 years ago, I was dressed in my Raven costume. I just got it done. Wasn't the best, but it was mine. And they had it right there, and I was like, I will be back for it. They gave me a $10 discount because the owner was there, and he was like, I remember you. Here you go.
That's
Like,
so
he
sweet.
held it for me, and I was like, ah. Xenoscope Comics was there, which was fantastic because they were also showing the pilot episode of their animated series, Grimm Fairy Tales. Mm-hmm. So the Grimm Fairy Tales comics got turned into an animated series.
That sounds pretty epic.
It does. And they had the freaking omnibus, which is, like a brick. Looked like an encyclopedia. I picked it up and I'm like, geez, how heavy. Oh, yeah, that's the first, 50 issues.
It happens.
They also had The Devil's Panties, which is a pretty popular webcomic series, and they were the sweetest people we talked to. They were oh, yeah, you can totally, here's the first issue, done. Oh, okay.
No questions asked.
Not
really.
There was also Cosplay Circuit, which if you've checked out our site, Graham, Neme, and I took a photo. I was Black Canary. I know the wig looks horrid, but
Lady Ash was an amazing Lady Flash,
Yes.
I was about to say.
and Grim was his assassin pirate.
Which he got one guy who absolutely pretty much begged for him to assassinate him in a picture. It was awesome.
Please do it, Grim. Please.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
He
It
was
was
pretty
about
much
like that.
begging. It was like, he was like, I want your hand here, and you need to do this. Like, he plotted the entire thing just
Knocked my
for that
hat
one
off,
photo.
everything.
Yeah. So Cosplay Circuit was there taking photos of so many people. Anime House, let's see, Everett Comics, which I didn't realize was there either. Kind of cool. They're Everett, Washington.
Well, and when it gets big enough, you kind of even don't notice certain vendors because you're just just in this
There's
swamp
just-
of people.
It was a
and
lot of
stuff.
colors and things and noise and all
yeah,
the shinies.
There's
Everywhere.
the Wizard World store, Trek Radio, T-Turtles, Tentacle Kitty was there. I actually got to see Tentacle Kitty in person, and if I had the money, I would have bought it.
Shut the front door.
Yes.
And they had all the little pieces. And then there was also Stanley Collectibles.
Yes.
That was cool. It was nice to see them. There was what was it? The comic book that we saw at the end?
Oh, what was it? Hound?
Yeah,
Same
Hound
thing.
Comics.
Yeah.
They were nice.
Was there a lot of vinyl toy vendors and art toy vendors there? Because I've
Yes.
heard from
Yeah,
a lot of
there
people
were
that
a
that's
lot.
growing in popularity for conventions.
Yeah, we talked to
Yeah.
a guy who had Star Trek everything. He had the signed photos and all the little toys and everything. And he was real sweet. He's like, dude, can I get a picture with you? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, like
Pretty
there were
awesome.
so many people. There were fantastic artists there.
The 501st was there.
Yeah, well, as they should. They had a Chewbacca there.
Oh yeah, Peter Mayhew was there too.
Oh yeah, Peter
Oh, yeah.
Mayhew was there, the original Chewbacca.
He was nice.
Was
Also,
freaking awesome.
Lando Calrissian, that guy, he was
Billy
there.
Dean Williams.
He was real nice. I just walked up to say hi, and I was like, hey, it's nice to meet you. I just wanted to come say hi. I watched you growing up. And he was like, oh, cool. Hi.
Were there a lot of exclusives there too?
Actually, while the judges were judging and doing their judgely duties,
She's tenting
That
her
was
fingers
right.
like a judge with judgely
Whoa.
duties.
I feel like I'm on like American Idol or something,
They
which is a
showed us
bad
a
reference,
video.
but we got to see an exclusive clip, the trailer, as well as an exclusive clip from Pompeii. And Sony was kind enough to let Wizard World screen it for us, and it was one of the most epic scenes there, and there's fire and a freaking flood and ships crashing everywhere and people drowning and or getting burst in flames, you know, like the
Like, it
best of
happens.
yeah.
I mean, Pompeii.
And
You know, stuff.
yeah.
Flamey Bernie death.
The guy that plays Jon Snow in Game of Thrones is in that, and I was like, that's cool.
I didn't know he was in that.
Yeah, I didn't realize until I saw the trailer either, and it's
Interesting.
oh yes, it was actually really cool. We can't say much more.
Were there any comic exclusives that you guys thought were cool? Because I know there's a lot of variant covers and stuff like that. Sometimes it gets a little much because I feel like everybody,
Yeah, there
Mike
was-
is
there-
laughing and nodding.
There were some, but we didn't get a chance to really go and see them with, visiting with the celebrities and the vendors. There wasn't a whole lot of time for us to go up and visit that. But they did have a lot of panels and stuff on that of the, here's a exclusive with this, and they had Q&A exclusives with the
We missed-
celebrities, and there was a lot going on. There was everything.
We missed a lot of the panels. The only panel we did make was Friday night, and that was the cosplay panel with Ivy Doom Kitty. And that was really the only, like, we had it all planned out, and I was like, these are the ones we're going to go to. And because there was just so much stuff, and we didn't have a hotel nearby, we were staying in Salem, and the convention was in Portland. So it was, one of those we have to get ready, get going, da-da-da. And,
Yeah.
there was just so much stuff that we couldn't make all the panels. We couldn't see a whole lot of the things in actual detail.
I'll just have to go next year.
Yeah.
Please do it. It'll be fun.
Yeah. They're doing a, 16 city tour?
That's yeah. Wow. Gosh.
They're all the way across the country. There's one. The next one is in New Orleans, and they have Wash from Firefly showing up at that one, as well as Inara from Firefly.
That would be pretty
How
epic.
about Linda Hamilton from, let's see, I don't know, Terminator?
Yeah, they have
just
a lot
throw
of
that
good
one in
people
there.
showing up.
Patrick Stewart.
Dean Cain,
Patrick Stewart's making an appearance at one of
Well,
them.
that just means I have to go.
Yes.
Pam
Oh, yeah.
Grier.
I think I saw Dean Cain at Wizard World last year. Not this past one, but the one last
Yeah.
year.
Elijah Dushku.
For every Whovian fan out there, Matt Smith.
James
I
Marsters.
heard Karen Gilliam's going to be doing a lot more concerts.
joined.
Yeah,
She
concerts
joined
too.
the ECC.
Yeah, I'm excited about that one.
You guys better get a picture with her. I'm not going to that one.
We've been doing a lot of talk about cosplayers and cosplay, and you guys were involved in the costume contest this year, and I want to hear more about
So
that.
Neme, why don't you tell us what it was like? Since you were in the contest itself, tell us about that process and all the fun.
So I was actually, when I wasn't planning to originally, because, we had a lot of stuff to do.
No,
and
you
it
were
was
planning on
tiring.
it. We just never got around to signing up.
Well, I also didn't know where,
Let's be
because
real.
there was talk about it being at one place, and then there's or another place, and they weren't real clear. But there was a guy who walked up, and he's like, have you signed up yet? I'm like, no. Well, why not? Because I don't know where. So he told me where. I went and signed up, and they told us to meet in Ballroom 203 at 6:30. So we did that. And I get in there, and all of us are in there, and we're waiting, and we're talking with the other cosplayers. We're making friends. We're killing time while we find out what's supposed to go on. And it was basically we're sitting and talking, and we're working and waiting, and they finally come in and tell us, okay, guys, want you to line up in, you guys aren't in order, are you? We're like, no. So they had us get all in order as best as we could, and then they told us basically what they wanted us to do when we got on stage, and they started us up, and it was basically you walk up, you go to this line, 1, 2, 3, walk up to the next line, 1, 2, 3, walk back to the first line, 1, 2, 3, walk off stage. And it was pretty quick and simple. It was also very nerve-wracking because they were like, oh, by the way, are you okay with being on TV for Heroes of Cosplay? Uh-huh. Yeah.
Sure.
Definitely okay with this. But we got up there. I was in between a Gambit and Queen Amidala and Darth Maul. They were like right behind me in that direction. And they were fantastic people. We're all sitting and talking and trying to find out if I can talk.
Words and things.
We talked about how we put our costumes together, things we worked with, how long it took us. The Amidala, she spent 2 weeks putting her entire costume together. She built her entire dress, the headpiece, the eggs that are on there, the lights, everything. But we got up there and you struck a pose and then you walked up and you struck another pose and you walked back, you struck a third one and then you walked off and you watched everybody else do that until they were all done. Then the judges went off and did their thing and they came back. And if you got it, you got dragged up on the stage and you got your prize. And the winners stayed up there, got pictures. They did a big giant picture with us, which should be on Wizard Worlds by now.
It should be on
I've
their
seen
Facebook.
it. I've
So,
seen
yeah.
it, yes. Though when they posted it, I will say one thing about that is the severe lack of commas and naming you guys properly was so...
Well,
this is coming from somebody who does this professionally.
Considering they have a little computer and it's quickly
Cosplay Circuit was the ones that did the
they did
most
the
of them.
contest.
Yeah.
And they were literally right there and they were typing real quick.
And then they
send
sent you on your way.
That was
and
all they
moved
could
on
do.
to the next person because they had so many people. I
Yeah.
understand it would be nice, but Wizard World itself hosting the costume contest, they should have the photos up.
Yeah.
That
was
the
amazing.
the best villain. The one who won best villain was Rita from
Rita Repulsa from Power Rangers,
and
Mighty
you-
Morphin Power Rangers, the original, and she had it down pat.
She
had
stayed in
the voice,
character.
the strut, the whole outfit. She looked like a screen replica. It was
Hell, I'm looking at it right now. From the costume contest, you've got Best in Show, which was, again, that guy dressed as Sauron, the Dark Master from The Lord of the Rings. 12 feet friggin' tall. Best Male Villain was this guy who did basically one of the Chimera from Resistance. And again, he was huge because he had some stilts. You had Best Female Hero, which was the Injustice Wonder Woman. Best Female Villain, which was, as we said, Rita Repulsa. Best Male Hero, this one was fantastic. It was a female who dressed as Jareth, the Goblin King from Labyrinth. And then two personal friends of mine from the medieval stuff I do won the best team-up for their Skyrim characters.
It was phenomenal. I know the Gambit and I were talking backstage after we got done. We made a pact that we would wait for each other after we got off the stage, and we're all like, oh my god, my legs are shaking. I don't have legs. I have jelly for legs. That was nerve-wracking.
Well, and sitting in
was
the
fantastic.
audience, like because
They
Grim and
were
I were in the
cheering.
audience to cheer her on, and it was actually really cool because I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, she's coming up soon, and I mean we're sitting there and we were told you need to cheer, act like it's a sports team, and so we're sitting there cheering for people, and as the night goes on, people are slowly they wait for the person to hit the stage and then they cheer. I think it was the first Katana didn't show up.
Nope.
And then the Invisible Woman, he's sitting there and he's like, oh yeah, look, it's the Invisible Woman. She's doing her thing, and look, there she goes, and just playing it up. We're like, but okay, another person just disappeared. Okay, but seeing that many people in one room to support this, and just seeing the differences in cosplay, seeing that the fact that there were kids doing this, and how many people, and even when they were asking questions on oh, my shield took me a week. This costume took me this long. And some of the family, there was a Scooby-Doo group. It's a family. They built their own little mystery machine that the staff put on the stage.
Yeah.
It was actually really, really cool.
Yeah. Well, I bet you guys dealt with a lot of staff through the costume contest.
Yes.
So,
They were
how
nice.
was... Ash was like, they were nice.
They were really nice. They were very clear on what they wanted us to do, being one of the cosplayers back there. They were, this is what you need to do. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. We ran through it once or twice, and they're like, okay, you got it? Good. Let's go. They were really friendly and nice about it. They had the judges come back there and instruct us on what they wanted us to do, and it was quick, easy, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am.
It's great. What about the staff for the rest of the event? How did you guys find that?
The staff was good. I mean, like I said, we met who we're supposed to. It was Thursday night, hey, we're going to be at this bar. If you want to get your press passes early, let us know. And I have a love-hate relationship with their press passes because they're the little plastic wristbands that we had to keep on all weekend.
I got bored.
I have a love-hate relationship with them because I love them because, you know, you can hide them under your costume and you can just be another person, whether you're press or your staff or whatever. So you can kind of hide it and just be another person and not really have to deal with that. But at the same time, when you're trying to be a legit press person, it's nice to have that actual physical badge. So they're not looking at you going, well, I don't see a press badge on you. Are you actually legit, or, you know, what's going on? And you have to kind of like move half your costume, take things off and be like, no, see, here's my badge right here, right around my wrist. And I mean, like I said, I have that love-hate relationship with it. It'd be nice to actually have something physical around my neck or that shows a bit better. But I mean, I talked to Jerry through email, got everything sorted. The whole interview, trying to score interviews was hit or miss beforehand because of the celebrities. It's nothing against him, but I knew where to find him. I knew how to contact him. The security was great. You could tell who was who. And the fun thing is they actually had this little game at the back of the program where you had to take pictures of certain things, and once you collected all the pictures, you could win a mystery prize. We didn't get all the pictures, but, you know, it was find this person, find that, take a photo of
Find
a
a
volunteer.
TARDIS.
Yeah. But, I mean, the staff was great. I've never dealt with staff that was so organized, so communicative. I mean, honestly, that was the best convention I've ever been to when I had to deal directly with staff.
That's really good to hear
Oh,
that.
yeah.
I mean, I feel like there are some failings in conventions as far as staff goes, but also in layout. How did you guys find the layout of Wizard World?
It was laid out really
Perfectly.
simply. You had the exhibit hall, and it was all labeled across. You could find out which aisle you were on. You could, in the back, they had all of the celebrities set up in their own separate booths, and they were labeled. In the back of that, they had all the photo ops. They were way separate, and it was, you know, they announced things. If you went over to the far side, you had all of Artist Alley, and that was labeled. You had information with this big sign. And if you went out into the main convention hall, you had big signs that said, Wizard World, programming, or this, or
You know,
that.
VIP tickets, press, exhibitors, and they also, with the way that the convention center was set up, you had the main room where they had the concessions and food in there.
Yeah.
So you could go there, get food, eat, go back to what you're doing. Exhibitors and, you know, all the dealers were in one section, off in one corner. The artists were off in one corner, and like then you had concessions. The other corner was all the celebrity stuff. You went out a door, and that's where you had the ballrooms where they held the costume contest, and they had different rooms for all the panels. So it was very organized and very straightforward. And if
That's great.
And you know, it was easy to find. And the security there, they made sure like you held up your wrist, showed your wristband when you went in. And they're like, okay, cool. If you didn't have a wristband, they're like,
Go get a wristband. This is where
Yeah.
you get it from.
yeah. And I mean, some people, they recognized us because of our costumes, and they're like, oh, no, you don't need to show us. We know who you are. We know that you're
That's
legit.
good.
We've seen
That's
you
good,
3
yeah.
times now. Go get.
They had
fucking done.
security that was like, all right, here's our bright orange zip tie. Okay, you're good to go. And we did our thing. It was damn near flawless.
It was
That's great.
fantastically simple. I've been to Dragon Con, and this was far better than Dragon Con for that.
Yeah, would there be any other comparisons that you would draw between different conventions that you've been to in the past and this one?
The biggest one I've been to is Dragon Con, and then also, what was the other one?
The only
Brain
real
dying.
I can compare this to Emerald City and the fact that it is massive.
Yeah.
This is a big convention. However, Wizard World seems a bit more organized. And I mean, it's again nothing against any convention and their staff. It's just, you know, they are dealing with a 16-city tour, so they have to be organized with everything.
Yeah.
They have to communicate everything.
it's a Wizard World experience. It's not just, oh, we're ECCC. We don't go anywhere else. We're only in Seattle.
Yeah,
Or
it's
we're
a
only in
one-seater
San
thing.
Diego. It's all of their cons have to be basically the same.
Yeah.
So they have it really well set up for that this needs to happen at this time and this and this and this, and it's all laid out, but it doesn't feel like you're being shunted between things. It's very flow as you go.
And where the vendors and everyone was, it was a big enough space to where I didn't have to worry about getting pickpocketed. My arms weren't pressed up against my chest to protect my boobies from getting hit by costumes.
Yeah.
There was the ability to stop and take photos, unlike Emerald City, because of the fact that the convention center in Portland is bigger
Yeah.
than the one that Emerald City uses. And, with how big and how packed Emerald City gets, if they expanded to a bigger section,
Yeah.
or use both sides of the convention center, they'd be able to fit more people in there. They'd be able to separate your artists and your vendors over here, your celebrities over here. And
Well, I was actually talking about that with somebody. Like, he and I felt that ECCC would greatly benefit to moving to the Seattle City Center and using the stadium and probably some of the other offset buildings, and just kind of, I mean, it would be difficult because of the time that they have it in, because it was probably going to be rainy, but there's a way to do it.
Yeah.
And it's just, they are growing out of the convention center right now. They really are. They need to either move or take over the other side of the convention center at this point.
Well, and if they take over the other side of the convention center, they can prolong moving to a different location so they have time to research.
Yeah.
Because they have outgrown that one section because it is so packed. It's hard to get to every vendor. It's hard to actually be able to do anything because it is so packed.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, they almost need to approach it like San Diego kind of does too, where it's just like, if you can't fit in the hall, then you get like these other buildings around the area to be able to host different things. Like, that's what San Diego kind of did. And that's where I see kind of Seattle City Center working better for that sort of thing, because there are so many auxiliary buildings that they could kind of slide into and do different events and different panels at.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense to kind of handle it that way at that point.
But, I mean, Geek Girl Con hosts the convention in the same area. Just, opposite side. They do it well. They haven't outgrown it yet because they're still getting the ball rolling.
Yeah, they're still in their adolescence as a
But
convention.
using both sides of it, it's okay, this side authors, artists, vendors, this side panels and celebrities, and they can separate it, and they can fit everyone in there much more comfortably.
Also,
Instead of just, jam-packed and sweaty and just, there's certain people I really don't want to be pressed up against in my costumes.
Dragon Con is starting to get that way too. They are much larger. They went from 2 hotels and their convention center to 5 hotels, I think now. Yeah, last I went it was 5 hotels. And they are all in that area. They have spread, because all these hotels are kind of all connected, strangely. And they've spread to all of them. They use all of them because they've had to. They have had to grow.
But yeah, I mean, it sounds like Wizard World is a convention that you've got to hit up now. I feel like Wizard World Portland seems to start off the convention circuit for the year.
Yep, they're moving
Every year.
to New Orleans, and then they'll be going to Atlanta and moving on from there.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it's, I think, Sacramento.
Atlanta will be in late May, early
yeah.
June, and then they'll go to Philadelphia and a couple other places. They basically just go all over,
Yeah, it's
everywhere.
New Orleans, then Sacramento, and then a few other places.
I mean, that sounds awesome, and I'm glad you guys got the chance to go this time. Hopefully I'll be able to go next year.
I do recommend getting a hotel. And if you're going to crash at a friend's house and drive there, get there as early as you can so you can actually get parking. Friday was fine. We got parking in the parking garage. Yesterday and today we had to park elsewhere. Actually, yesterday we had to park across the bridge and take the train, basically their version of the light rail up. Took like maybe 5 minutes, but we had to take their version of the light rail up just to get there and back to the car.
Yeah.
So, plan accordingly. If you're press, be sure that even if you don't know if you've got press passes, make a plan regardless so you can act on it as quickly as possible.
Definitely, definitely. I think as we're sort of wrapping up here, I definitely do want to get Caesar and Mike to kind of introduce themselves a little bit more. They're new members to our team.
Oh, hi.
And
Sorry, we
Mike's,
didn't go to Wizard World, so we wouldn't have much to say in that conversation.
Caesar, why don't you start? I can't remember exactly. I feel terrible what Caesar does. I remember Mike does comics because we were discussing it before we came in. But Caesar, why don't you start us off?
I will also be doing comics, and possibly I'll discuss later on probably other things as well. But yeah, no, mainly I'll be doing comics.
Comics. Is there a preferred publisher that you have? Are you a big DC fan, Marvel fan, Top Cow, Image?
Dark Horse. All of the above.
All the above.
I mean, yeah, all of the above. I don't discriminate against major comic companies.
How dare I insinuate that?
I know. How dare you do that? No, but the comics that I'm looking at reviewing most are actually just indie artists that have like a lot of the folks that I know in the animation industry, because I'm an animator, and so a lot of my friends, they have their side projects.
Yeah.
They have a lot of things on like say iPad or Android, or they just publish their own stuff, and I figured it'd be nice to like just showcase their artwork and their storytelling.
Yeah,
as well.
I mean, a lot of that right now is very highly underrated, and it's just, I think it's starting to grow. I think people are starting to notice it more. There are a lot of more webcomic readers out there than there used to be, even in this past year. Mm-hmm. It's grown exponentially, which is great. And I mean, something we posted really recently, even the Shepherd Kickstarter, it's just like, seeing that kind of thing existing out there. We need more one-shot comics. We need more artists with original stories, and we need more variety.
No, and it's really cool because like a lot of the artists that work, say, in the quote-unquote industry, so they work in like video games or they work in movies, like they're not just there just for they want to show their own voice as well.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times they use the internet and they use all these other tools that we have now to share their stories with people out in the world. So
Definitely.
So-
Well, we're happy to have you, Caesar.
Outside of Nerdvana, what else do you do for fun? Tell us just a little bit more about yourself, so our listeners kind of know Caesar just a bit.
They want to relate to you,
do
Caesar.
they really want to relate to me?
I mean, they
That's
want to relate
amazing.
to me, so I assume they want to relate to you as well.
That's for a whole nother reason.
Whoa.
Grim. Anyway,
Someone had to say it. We were all thinking.
turning back to, I know I'm adorable, but let's not try to focus on that.
You are adorable, by the way.
Thank you, Caesar. I try.
Suck up.
It takes a lot of work.
I'm trying. Is the sucking up working?
I think you're in some brownie points.
Flattery will get
But-
you everywhere.
But Caesar's an animator, so what kind of animation do you focus on?
Well, currently I am working on Microsoft Xbox One Connect games.
Oh, cool.
I can't say anything else because then Microsoft would make me disappear.
You have that NDA.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
the
just kind of
NDA.
keeping you down.
They're like, they're probably listening right now. They're like, what's he going to say?
Caesar,
What are you gonna say?
stop it. Keep it under wraps. Stop.
And we really
That's
don't
what
want
she
you to
said.
disappear, so.
No.
We would prefer to have you here.
I actually don't want to disappear either.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, that would be really unfortunate.
Yeah.
Well, like I was saying previously, we were really happy to have you. We were happy to have more people on the team, and we're really excited to have Mike as well, who is doing comics also. So, Mike, what's going on with you?
I'm actually the opposite of Caesar. I'm more of a old school DC Marvel, although I do now have the love-hate relationship.
We're going to battle, Mike.
All right.
Let's battle.
I want to see a joint article at some point where you guys review the same comic, just
I
to
think that's
see.
a great idea. I think that would be
Oh.
amazing.
Do it. So hold on, I have to ask, since you both are doing comics, you heard that DC's, talking about canceling at issue 30 Nightwing, Teen Titans and all that. How do you guys feel about this?
Yeah, we were just talking about this previously.
Do tell.
I expect a complete female uprising come April when
Oh, yeah.
Nightwing is canceled. The rumor is that Nightwing is going to become a female.
Oh my.
Gender swap, what now?
So then what happens to Dick Grayson?
That's going to come out of the Forever Evil storyline, which wraps up in March.
I predict he's going
you-
to they're going
wait.
to kill him.
Female uprising as they're going to be pissed, or female uprising as, yeah, female Nightwing?
I've already heard on some Yahoo groups that I'm on the raising of swords and knives. This has been a long-standing conflict with DC and the female readers who think that Dick Grayson has been treated horribly since Crisis back in '85.
That's interesting because on the other side of it, I mean, you have the female uprising with the whole Batgirl controversy or Batwoman controversy with the bisexuality in there, and it's a completely different uprising that we're experiencing where they're like, no, keep her the way she is. And then on the same token, they're like, why Nightwing female? Why?
Just to throw my 2 cents in there, DC, I think you're kind of starting to fail just a touch bit with the comics, and Marvel's kind of doing it right because there's so many different things that they're doing with the New 52 and canceling things and rebooting things and changing things, and I'm like, just stop with the things.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
no.
I mean, I think I was discussing this with Mike earlier. I think the only thing that I've really been excited about was the new Wonder Woman. That's pretty much been it for me, and it's mainly because, and Lilith and I have discussed this just ad nauseum about my feelings about Starfire in the new comics.
Oh my goodness.
We've discussed this in length multiple
And if
times.
it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, Mike, outside of our lovely comic reviews, and you are also the lead of the comic department, which I thank you kindly for heading that greatly. What else do you do outside of Nerdvana?
I do a lot of my own writing, my own stories, as well as tormenting people who do overly support DC and Marvel. As much as I enjoy DC and Marvel, I've been reading since the mid-'70s. Even I am getting kind of tired of 5 months down the road, there will be another 6 canceled titles, another 6 additional titles.
No, Mike, DC and Marvel can do no wrong.
And
Everything they do is right.
I'm making the phone call to Microsoft right now. You will disappear.
They're so adorable. Can we keep them?
I hope so, Grim.
I like this idea. I
pet
think
them and feed them
I
and give
really
them
hope that they
treats
stay
and
and we get to
everything.
keep them.
We'll keep you forever and ever if you let us.
I feel like I'm a puppy.
I feel like the pet gerbil I had in college.
We'll give you treats later for being good.
Yes. Treats.
So that's kind of an insight onto our 2 newest contributors that were able to make it to our podcast today. As I stated in episode 5, we will also have contributor month. So every month there will be a little story on each and every one of our contributors.
Alicia will be probably doing most of the profiles with them.
Yes. Also, we do have big news that I stated in episode 5. I couldn't really give any hints, but I think it's safe to say now Neme is getting married in July, and she's moving to North Carolina at the end of February.
I'm sorry or congratulations, whichever is appropriate.
Both.
Do not make me slap you.
And Neme will be starting a sect out there, so if we have any listeners out in the area that would be interested in contributing and working with her, reach out to us by all means.
Yeah, send us
an
an
email, and I'll do what I can to get you guys set up.
If you're on the East Coast and you want to join up, send me an email, and we'll make sure we get that to happen. I do want to make sure Neme has, a week or 2 to settle in.
Yeah,
Please,
don't
not
bombard
I will
her.
beat you.
If
I will
she's
find
taking
you.
if she's taking boxes out of a truck, it's probably a good idea to just leave her alone.
Or help her.
I can
Yeah.
chunk those. Really, I can't.
Yeah, we'll probably wait a month or 2, let her get settled in, new living situation, new job, everything, get herself sorted.
You said 1 week.
Well,
Okay, give me at least a week. Do not start pestering me the week I get there.
okay, we'll give you at least a week, maybe.
After the second week, I'll start pestering you guys that I get
Okay, so,
knowing.
we'll give her 2 weeks then.
Second week of March.
Okay, second week of March, we'll start harassing her. Right around that time, we're going to start releasing a bit more details as Alicia, Ash, Neme, and I go ahead and get everything together and sorted for East Coast.
Wait a
Because
minute.
if you didn't know, we were the 3 heads of the Hydra that had all of this.
Wait a minute here. I had to wait till March to start harassing her?
No.
You can harass her anytime you want,
You
Graham.
Damn
harass
straight
me
I can.
anyway.
As Nerdvana, we will not harass her until March.
So says you.
What we do outside of
I
Nerdvana,
will smack you upside your head.
I feel
in
there's a
July.
lot of infighting right now, and I'm becoming a lot of... Uncomfortable?
But yeah, so Neme's
Trouble,
moving.
Tribbles, what?
Neme's going to be taking over on the East
I heard
Coast.
Tribble.
You're fuzzy and the cute because you can't find the hole.
Giggity.
Huh?
So just to kind of wrap things up, we will be having East Coast sector. If anyone anywhere in the world would like to contribute, please send us an email. Once again, send us your favorite con stories. If you have, whether they be positive or negative, we want to hear them.
Yeah, and feel free to post to the Facebook page. I know that a lot of people are hesitant, but we want to hear from you guys. We want more interaction. If you guys feel like you want more stuff on the blog that we just don't have right now, or you want to get more stories about a certain TV show or something like that, just let us know, because without you guys, we're just going to keep doing what we've been doing.
We need the
Tell us
input.
what you want to hear.
Yeah, and just so everybody does know too, I think we're pretty safe to say at this point that in the next month or two we will be launching a newer version of our website. Not a lot of things are going to be changing.
We'll be able to do ad hosting, which is really the major big difference.
Yeah, we want to be able to support a lot of the people that we've been meeting, and there's just no real way for us to do that right now without kind of being sly and underhanded on WordPress.
Which just takes too much time, effort, and paperwork. And yeah, we have better things to do.
Yeah, but we will let all of you know, and there will be a site redirect and all of that, so it's not going to be shocking change that you'll have to readjust your universe in order to find us.
No, it'll still be the same layout, same thing. But as we're growing, we're starting to get more contributors. We're getting more of the movie and TV show section taken care of. We're getting more of the comic book section taken care of, thanks to Mike and Caesar. But, we do still have a few open slots. Whether you're in the Seattle area or not, whether you're in the Seattle area or not, let us know if you want to contribute. If there's anything you feel that needs to be added onto our site, let us know.
Yeah, and we're welcome to guest writers too. If you don't feel like you can be a continual contributor, and you just have this one idea for maybe like a 3-part poster or something like that you want to put out there, contact us. We are open to ideas, and just throw it out there. You never know what's going to happen.
If you're a cosplayer, we want to, see your cosplays. We want to be able to share you, and
We would
Yep.
possibly like to feature you.
Yeah,
Exactly. We're gonna start doing cosplayer profiles. We're gonna have one coming up soon with Miss Pip Osborne. It's gonna be one of our first ones. So yeah, put the word out there. I'm gonna be working on a majority of them, and I know Lilith will be doing some as well. And we want to collaborate with you guys too, as far as photo shoots go. We don't want you to, we want to hear your ideas, and we want to get your input on these things. We're not going to be that sort of hand of God that's just like, no, it must be this way, and you must be this character in the photo shoot. We want you guys to have fun.
Oh, yeah. If there's an event that you want us to be at, whether we're dressed up or as press or whatever, let us know. We're open to a lot of things. Like I keep telling everyone that listens, we are redefining the term nerd. We want to hear about all the different events in the Seattle area, and beyond that, we can go ahead and cover. So, questions, comments, concerns, ideas, whatever. Even if you just want to send us an email that says, hey, you guys are doing great, just wanted to let you know. Fantastic. We're also going to be starting up celebrity interviews soon. So as we get those locked in, we'll let you know, and you can send in questions for that. I don't think there's anything else. I think we covered everything.
Yeah.
Go email us.
Yeah. Go email. Talk to us. We don't bite.
Much.
Some of us don't.
Hard.
Just talk to me then. I don't bite. Apparently, I'm the only one who doesn't.
No,
But-
I nibble if you ask nicely.
You can find us on our Facebook. You can also find us on Twitter, on Google.
Yep.
You can find us just about anywhere. You can also find us hiding out in the local comic book shop, reading the latest Thor issue.
Yeah, if you ever see us on the street too and you're a reader, feel free to approach us. We, at least I, as we've stated, does not bite. So
No, if you
come up and say hi.
If you see us at a convention, we post when we're at a convention, we post what convention we're at, and if we're in costume. If you see us, don't hesitate to come up and take photos with us and talk to us and be social and treat us like people.
We would love
We're
that.
people, you guys.
We love talking to people like
And
this.
show us you
Please.
exist. Show us
Yeah.
we're not just talking into microphones to dead air.
Please.
It's
Please.
preferable.
Yeah.
With that end of begging, of wanting to meet you all, I think we're going to wrap up for episode 6 of the podcast.
Yes.
We've loved talking to you guys about conventions this time around. I think next episode is going to be...
We're not sure yet.
It's going to be a surprise then. It's a mystery.
Oh, why?
Watch out for the mystery box.
Yes, episode 7 will be our mystery episode.
We'll figure something out.
We'll be Scooby-Doo sleuths.
I would have got away with it too. It wasn't you kids.
I'll be dressed as Velma.
Exactly.
And that dog.
And with that, we'll wish you guys a good night or a good day or whenever you're listening to this. I'm Alicia Ish.
Good day.
So once again, I'd like to introduce our newest contributors. Thank you guys for coming on board. As you can tell by both of them being on here, they are a perfect fit for us and all of our crazy...
Aren't they
antics.
just?
Hey, I guess we are.
I guess we're stuck then, sorry.
They fit in too well.
Yeah.
We can't get rid of them.
No.
I don't know, occasion, a couple sets of boxing gloves might fix that problem.
Is there a chance we
maybe,
can take the chains
maybe.
off now?
I think we can.
Well,
I think I might have lost the keys.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Well, does that mean we have to put the slave Leia costumes away too?
Yeah, maybe.
well,
think about
signing
it.
out here, I would be Alicia Ish, I suppose.
You think?
I guess.
I'm Lily.
If I have to be.
If you have to be. I guess then at that point I can just be Liliana.
I guess that sounds good.
I could be Mike.
I'm definitely Caesar.
I'm Neme.
As always, I'm still Grim.
And hypothetically, I'm John.
He sits there and he does tech stuff.
And he looks good doing it.
Yes,
my
he does.
Wookiee.
Stay nerdy, everyone.
Ladies and gentlemen from Nerdvana, this is Grim, and I'm here with...
RJ, and I was CM Punk at the costume contest last night.
here at Wizard World's convention in Portland, Oregon. So tell me, how did you feel up there? What was it like? Was this your first time doing a costume contest?
Yes, it was, actually. I was kind of nervous, but once I got up there, it was actually a lot of fun, because I actually play guitar in real life, so I've been on the stage before. So once I got up there, it was okay.
Right on. I was up front in the crowd. I saw you and your interaction with Jason David Frank. That was hilarious. How'd you feel when he basically was like, dude?
Oh, it was pretty cool. I met Jason last year, and I talked to him on Facebook, so he kind of knows who I am. But it was great that he did that. And what's funny is earlier he saw my CM Punk, so he's like, CM Punk. So I kind of had a feeling he was going to do that.
Right on. Well, it looks great. You even got the World Heavyweight Champion belt and all. I saw you up on stage, like I said. You looked fantastic. You were in character. You had the energy, man.
Thanks. Yeah, I bet the audience could tell I'm a big CM Punk fan. What's also great was he was at this show, and I got to take my picture with him with my costume on.
Perfect. CM Punk with CM Punk. So, do you got any words of advice for people out there that want to get into costuming and maybe do contests?
Well, my guessing is if you want to do it, just go for it. But here's the bottom line. When you do these things, don't go in as, I want to win, I want to win. Just go in as, I want to have fun, I want to have fun. Because that's what these things are about. It's just to have fun. It's not to win. If you win, I mean, that's cool. I mean, that's like, an ego booster. But the main thing is just get up there and have fun. Because that's why I did it. I wanted to have fun, and it was fun.
Awesome. Glad you had a good time, and hopefully you're enjoying Wizard Worlds. Thank you for your time, RJ.
Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, listening to Nerdvana, this is Grim and Lilith, and we are here with the legendary Ray Park at Wizard World Convention. Ray, are you enjoying the convention?
I am. It's a great time. I've never been to Portland before, and I got in a little bit early and went go-karting and got to see a little bit. And I always have a great time at Wizard because I'm with the fans and I get to see some other actor friends, and so it's a nice, honorable sort of weekend.
Rock on. For those that don't know, you probably remember Ray Park as both Darth Maul and Snake Eyes, but Ray, what other projects do you might have upcoming that you could tell us about?
I have a movie coming out called Jinn, Jinn. It comes out April 4th.
And if you can, give us a little backstory of what that might be about.
I don't want to give too much away, but it's a supernatural thriller, and it's about the mystical jinn. You know, there's good jinn and bad jinn, angels and demons and stuff. And there's a cool car in it called a Fire Breather. The reason why I'm mentioning that because I know I'm going to give you too much information now, so you just go and check it out. we filmed it a few years back, and I got to sort of I get a lot more screen time in this movie, which is nice, and I get to work with some great people.
Right on. There you go. A super secret insight on upcoming movie Jin. Go check it out, ladies and gentlemen. One last quick thing, because we know you're crunched on time. Do you have any words of advice for up-and-coming fire spinners, martial artists, or actors?
It's just to keep positive. It's hard, you know, like you keep your dream alive. You know, I always say, always believe in yourself. You know, and believe that you can do anything if you put your mind to it. And sometimes, you know, you get lucky. You know, if you put it out there in the universe, sometimes it comes back on you. And as a kid, I used to always fantasize about, you know, being in movies and doing the type of martial art moves and skills and tricks, and as my masters would do. So I would go away and practice it, and because I would see that and visualize it, it was there in my head to keep on practicing. Even though it was hard, I never always got it, and I got frustrated. But I knew as a kid and a teenager that by putting the work in and the practice and the sweat, blood and tears, the dedication, it would get there eventually. And then I got lucky, you know. My sort of dreams were answered in the sense of being part of movies, but I never thought in a million years I'd be doing Star Wars and G.I. Joe. The sort of thing I wanted to do was Hong Kong action, you know, the ninja movies, the kung fu movies, and so I'm very lucky. But from my experience, I would just say keep positive, and it does take work. You've got to work hard, you know, and anything you do, but the work becomes play, and it becomes fun.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Ray. I'm glad to have met you. Again, this was Grim and
Liliana
with Ray Park. Stay beautiful, people.